While everyone was watching 4 astronauts fly around the moon, NASA was already planning how to drive on it, because there's going to be a moon car, and it looks absolutely nothing like those little golf rovers from the Apollo days. Stay with me, because this thing is wild. Artemis 4 is the one, targeted for early 2028. This is the first crewed moon landing since Apollo 17 in December 1972.
Unbelievable. This has got to be one of the most proud moments of my life, I guarantee you.
2 astronauts will actually descend to the lunar surface, do science, collect samples, and come back up. Finally, humanity on the moon again. And here's what they're going to need when they get there: a ride. A $4.6 billion moon car. NASA calls it the Lunar Terrain Vehicle, the LTV. And the first thing you should know is that NASA isn't buying it. They're leasing it. Yes, NASA is doing a subscription model for moon rovers. Somewhere a product manager is very proud. The contract is worth up to $4.6 billion over 10 years. In exchange, a private company builds a rover, delivers it to moon, and NASA gets to use it during Artemis missions. When astronauts aren't on the moon, which is basically all year, the company can rent the rover out for commercial operations. So imagine, between crewed Artemis missions, the rover is just up there, autonomously driving around the lunar South Pole, collecting samples or mapping terrain for some other paying customer. The moon's first Airbnb asset. 3 companies made it to the final competition: Venturi Astrolab and their Flex rover, a modular, cargo-forward design. Intuitive Machines and their Moon Racer, more on them in a moment because it's wild. And Lunar Outpost and their Eagle rover, which appears to be the current frontrunner. All 3 have submitted final proposals. NASA was expected to make a selection by late 2025, then pushed it to early 2026, and as of right now, is still deciding. To be fair, this is a program with potential 10-year lifespan and billions of dollars at stake. NASA taking their time is actually the responsible thing to do. The frontrunner, Lunar Outpost. Let's talk about Lunar Outpost for a second, because their story is genuinely wild. This is a startup based out of Golden, Colorado. Founded in 2017, they specialize in robotic systems for space, and they have been quietly becoming one of the most important companies in the American lunar economy. Nobody talk about them at dinner parties, but they probably should. Their LTV entry is called the Lunar Dawn, specifically the Eagle rover. It's being built with a dream team of partners: Lockheed Martin for deep space expertise, General Motors for battery technology, Goodyear for specialized lunar tires, and MDA Space for robotics. Yes, the company behind Canadarm, on a moon rover with Goodyear tires. If that doesn't sound like a crossover episode, I don't know what does. The Eagle is designed for an operational range of 20 kilometers, a maximum speed of 15 kilometers per hour, and, critically, the ability to survive the lunar night. That matters enormously. The lunar night lasts about 14 Earth days and drops temperatures to around minus 280 degrees Fahrenheit. Most things just die. The Eagle is designed to wake back up when the sun rises and keep working. Lunar Outpost tested prototypes at a 1,000-acre facility in Colorado, completed 7 rounds of astronaut pressure suit testing at NASA's Johnson Space Center, and has already had a rover reach the moon, a smaller model called a MAP rover, built for scientific deployment rather than crewed operations. And here's the most interesting part. In November 2024, Lunar Outpost announced a partnership with SpaceX to deliver the Eagle to the moon aboard Starship. So the same rocket that's supposed to carry Artemis astronauts to the lunar surface is also supposed to carry their getaway car up there first. That's either brilliant planning or a very large single point of failure, depending on how you feel about Starship's development schedule. Intuitive Machines, the comeback kid. Now, we need to talk about Intuitive Machines, because no story in the current space industry is simultaneously more chaotic and more impressive. Intuitive Machines is a Houston-based company that builds lunar landers. Their flagship product is called the Nova C, a hexagonal, 6-legged lander that runs on liquid methane and liquid oxygen, burns hot, and has now attempted to land on the moon twice. The first time, their IM-1 mission in February 2024, a lander named Odysseus touched down near the South Pole. It was the first American spacecraft to soft land on the moon since Apollo 17. Historic, genuinely incredible. It also tipped over and spent its entire surface mission lying sideways at a 30-degree angle because a landing leg broke on touchdown. NASA described it as a rough, soft landing. That is one of the greatest euphemisms in the history of human achievement. Then came IM-2 in March 2025. Another Nova C lander, this one named Athena. This time, the altimeter failed because the South Pole's extreme lighting conditions confused the navigation sensors. The lander struck a small plateau, rolled, and ended up sideways inside a crater. Again, less than 13 hours of surface operations before it ran out of power. You might be thinking, so NASA just stopped working with them, right? Absolutely not. In March 2026, NASA awarded Intuitive Machines a $180.4 million contract for their fifth CLPS mission, IM-5, this time requiring their new, larger Nova-D lander. Nova-D is a heavy cargo lander designed to carry big, serious infrastructure payloads to the moon. We're talking fission power systems, rovers, construction equipment. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Intuitive Machines is also one of the 3 finalists for the Lunar Terrain Vehicle contract. Their rover entry is called the Moon Racer. NASA awarded them $30 million just to study the feasibility of delivering to the moon on a Nova-D lander aboard a SpaceX Falcon Heavy. At this point, Intuitive Machines is basically building a one-stop moon service shop. They'll land your stuff, drive your stuff, and relay your data via their own lunar communications network. The only question is whether they'll land right side up. But the story doesn't stop there, because Intuitive Machines just unveiled something even bigger. On their website, they've now listed what they're calling the Supernova, their largest planned lander platform, a step above the Nova-D, designed for the heaviest payload missions imaginable. Massive infrastructure delivery, support for a permanent moon base, the kind of cargo loads that make even Nova-D look like a carry-on bag. The Supernova represents Intuitive Machines' vision for the next decade of lunar development, not just delivering science instruments, but delivering civilization, the physical components of a sustained human presence on another world. They've now gone from a scrappy start tilting lander sideways on the moon to a company with a full lander family stretching from small robotic deliveries all the way up to a supernova capable of hauling moon-based components through space. Honestly, that's a character arc. The secret second rover, Duster. Here's something almost no one is talking about. For Artemis 4 specifically, there's not just a big crewed rover, the LTV, there's also a second, smaller autonomous rover. It's called Duster, which stands for Dust and Plasma Environment Surveyor. Someone at NASA put serious effort into that acronym. I respect the commitment, even as I question the life choices. The Duster rover is built by surprise. Lunar Outpost, small world, or small moon. Its job isn't to carry astronauts. It carries sensors. Specifically, instruments to measure lunar dust and plasma around the landing site. NASA gave it a $24.8 million contract. Now, why does lunar dust matter enough to warrant its own dedicated rover? Because lunar dust is genuinely one of the most underrated threats in all of space exploration. It's not like beach sand. It's sharp, electrostatically charged, microscopic, and it sticks to absolutely everything. Visors, solar panels, equipment, air filters, spacesuits. Apollo 17's Gene Cernan specifically warned that dust would be one of the biggest challenges for long-term lunar habitation. The stuff basically acts like it has a personal vendetta against technology. Duster will map exactly how this dust moves, how it responds to human activity, and how it behaves during lander liftoff, so that future missions can engineer around it. It'll be paired with a seismometer called the South Pole Seismic Station, SPSS, that monitors moonquakes and meteorite impacts. Artemis 4 astronauts will set both of these up, which means when they land on the moon for the first time in over 50 years, they're not just going there to collect rocks. They're going there to install infrastructure. That's not a moon landing. That's a moon moving day. One more thing worth mentioning. We're in a moon race again. China has publicly stated a goal of landing takenauts on the moon by 2030. Their lunar exploration program, the Chang'e series, has been methodical, disciplined, and very successful. They landed on the far side of the moon. They brought back samples. They're building towards something. NASA is targeting Artemis 4 for early 2028. China wants the moon by 2030. That's a 2-year window between America returns the moon and China arrives at the moon, which sounds comfortable until you remember that every Artemis mission has slipped its launch date at some point, sometimes by months, sometimes by years. Artemis 2 itself was supposed to fly in late 2024, then September 2025, then February 2026, then March 2026, before finally launching April 1st, 2026. April Fool's Day, completely unintentionally, which is either deeply unfortunate timing or the universe's best joke. The point is, the timeline is real, the competition is real, and the LTV, the landers, and everything attached to Artemis 4 needs to work. Artemis 2 just gave us the proof of concept. Humans can fly beyond Earth orbit again. The rocket works. The spacecraft works. The crew came home safe. Now comes the hard part. For Artemis 4 to happen, a lunar lander needs to be waiting in orbit. A rover needs to be waiting on the surface. A spacesuit needs to work in minus 280-degree temperatures. A $4.6 billion contract for a moon car needs to get resolved. And a company that has tipped 2 landers sideways on the moon needs to stick the landing this time, because their next-generation Nova-D lander might be the one carrying the rover. The moon isn't the destination anymore. It's a starting point. If you want to follow every step of this, Artemis 3, the lander competition, which rover wins, who lands first, what they find at the South Pole. Subscribe right now, because I will be covering every beat of this story. The next giant leap is loading. See you in the next one.